guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be discussing HOAs, also known as homeowners associations, what exactly is an HOA, the pros and cons, and what you need to know before buying a property in an HOA community. If you are looking for all things Myrtle Beach and the surrounding areas, be sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video if it was helpful. If you've been thinking about moving to the Myrtle Beach area, whether you're ready now, in 30 days, or 300 days, feel free to contact me. My info is in the description below. You can call, text, email me, or set up a time to chat. I look forward to getting you where you want to go. First things first, if you've never owned a property, maybe you've just been renting and you have no idea what an HOA is. An HOA is a homeowners association. They can also be known as a POA in some places, a property owners association. Now, what does an HOA do exactly? An HOA is a private organization that manages community of homes, townhomes, or condos. HOAs are responsible for enforcing rules, collecting payment, and maintaining the common areas. Now, who runs an HOA? An HOA is run by a board of directors, which is usually elected. Now, sometimes there's a board of directors and there's also a management company who runs the HOA as well. So these people make decisions and then the management company will help enforce those as well and make things run a little more smoothly. HOAs are typically found in planned communities, condos, townhouses. All different types of residential communities can have an HOA. Now, you will hear a lot of opinions on HOAs, whether they're good, bad. Some people hate their HOAs, some people don't mind them, some people love them. It all comes down to what you are looking for in a place to live, and the people that run the HOA too can make a big difference. All right, we are going to start with the cons of an HOA. You will have plenty of people who say, I hate an HOA, I will never buy in an HOA, and that is completely fine. These are probably some of the reasons why they may say those things. Now, an HOA has a certain rules that you must abide by. Now, these could go from anywhere from what you can do even inside if you live in a condo townhouse, to what you can do with your landscaping and outside and how you can use the community at all. So certain rules and guidelines on what you can and cannot do with your property. Another con is that for a lot of things you will need approval from the HOA. So sometimes it just depends on how detailed the rules are for your community. Sometimes you need to get written approval when you can plant anything in the yard, if you're going to do any type of landscaping, stonescaping, if you are going to paint your house, if you are going to add an extension, anything like that will need HOA approval. If it is something that's part of adding it onto your house, you will probably need it to be reviewed by the ARC, which is the Architectural Review Committee. Some HOAs will have those as well. So a lot of people don't like that you have to get written approval to add something to your house or yard. Even it's as simple as putting mulch down or rocks down. On top of that, a lot of people don't like the fact that there are restrictions, such as pets and rental usage are kind of like the two big ones that I think of. Some HOAs will not allow pets. Now, this is typically going to be in condos. When it comes to single family homes, you have a little more freedom in that, but it all just depends on the HOA. They can even limit the number of pets allowed, size, things like that. And then also rental usage, they will sometimes, not just the zoning code is one way that you will not be able to use your property for long-term or short-term rentals, but your HOA may also distinguish that, how long you are allowed to rent your property out for. And then, of course, what a lot of people don't like is having to pay more money to live in a community. So HOA dues range. There's a vast range of how much they are depending on where you are and what it includes. So a lot of people don't want to have to pay that HOA fee. Now, I know I just spoke about a lot of cons. Now let's get into the pros. Okay, so one of the pros of living in an HOA is preserving the property values. Now, because you are only able to do certain things to your property and you have to maintain a certain level of maintenance, depending on your HOA rules, the property values are going to stay up. So you can't have a neighbor who has broken down cars, couches, appliances all over their yard, which can, deteriorate your property values, because most of the time people don't want to be looking at that. So keeping property values, keeping the area nice and clean, that is one of the major pros of living in an HOA. Now, another pro is going to be that not all, but many HOAs, communities, they're going to have some type of amenities. So especially here in the Myrtle Beach area, most HOAs are going to have a pool, a clubhouse, sometimes even tennis courts, pickleball courts, a playground. All these things just right there in your community just is such a plus. So those things are going to make a lot of people drawn towards an HOA because they will be able to use those, especially a pool here in the Myrtle Beach area. Another pro of being part of his HOA is that sometimes they will include like things like cable, internet, lawn service, trash service. That may be more actually if you were included in the community. So you may save actually on those costs. Now, when it comes to condos and townhouses, they typically do include more things. So they may even include your pest control. They may include some power washing, additional things just because there are shared walls and units. So as you can see, there are some really great benefits to living in an HOA and having that community with the amenities. Now, most condos and townhouses will have an HOA. That's just because it is more important for everything to be maintained because you are sharing walls with other units. So what one owner does affect the other owners a lot more than if you're in a single family home and you own the land as well. So as if you are looking for a condo and townhouse, just be prepared that there will most likely be an HOA. Now, another thing to note about HOAs and pertaining especially to the Myrtle Beach area is that oceanfront condos in really towards the beach typically are going to have much higher HOAs than if you are not on the ocean and further inland. And typically that is because of insurance costs rising. So especially in the last few years, we have seen a lot of insurance costs go up, and we've even seen that inland as well. But what's really feeling that is going to be those oceanfront condos, and that's why you'll see those HOA fees so high. Not only that, but if there is one of the high rises, something that we call a condotel that has a lot of amenities. Basically, you can rent by the night, but there are individual condo owners. Those will typically have the highest HOAs, and that is because they typically include everything, and you are also paying, for the resort maintenance as well. So sometimes those will even include your electric in the unit along with everything else. So the only, payment that you will have is really to that HOA. Now, what you need to know before purchasing any home, condo, townhouse in an HOA is you want to review the HOA documents. Now, what documents are those that you'll want to see? There are a couple. So you will want to know how much the HOA is and what does that include exactly. This is super important to help you factor in the costs because some will include lawn care, pest control, cable, internet, water, sewer. It just depends. They're all different. So you need to ask individually each HOA, what do they pay for and what is the cost? Sometimes they'll include insurance, sometimes they won't. Most of the time, if it does include some type of insurance, it's going to include building insurance, which is for the exterior. So you will still need your own, even if you are getting a condo or townhouse, you will still need your own interior insurance if they do say they have building insurance. Now, the documents that you do want to read over, and sometimes they can be long, but it is super important for you to read this through. The first one's going to be the master deed, and this is going to outline what the HOA is responsible for and what the owner is responsible for. So you want to read that through and make sure you understand that. Another document is going to be the bylaws, and this is going to be how the HOA is run. Make sure you read that through as well. Another document that typically every HOA has is going to be a rules and regulations. This can look different for all, just depending on how much they add into that. Just kind of a list of the basic rules. A lot of times things like the rental policy, the pet policy, the pool policy, things like that are going to be on this. It's just going to kind of be a shorter list of some things that might be in the master deed as well, and some additional rules that have been added over the years. You'll really want to get a copy of the recent minute meetings. Now, every HOA typically holds a meeting, and if they don't, it's definitely something you want to be wary of. They'll hold one at least every year, And this is so that they can go over what needs to be done, go over the budget and things like that. Any complaints people have, they can bring those to the board at these meetings. And that will all be written up, some meeting minutes, so you know what's kind of going on currently in a community. And then it's also great to know the budget. Now, having a lot of reserves in the budget is good. If an HOA does not have a lot of reserves, it's kind of a bad sign. So just making sure that budget makes sense is something to look out for as well. Now, in particular in the Myrtle Beach area, we do have a majority of our homes are going to be in an HOA. Now, that's not to say that you cannot find one outside of an HOA, but it definitely takes a little bit more looking. And sometimes just depending on where you are looking to live, it can be a little more expensive. So if you are looking to live a couple blocks from the beach and you don't want to be in an HOA, you need to have a little bit of a higher budget. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you want a little bit more space and you don't want an HOA, but your budget isn't quite as high, then you may actually want to move inland a little bit. Even just 15 to 20 minutes inland, from Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach, that may get you a little bit more land and no HOA. Now, even if a property has no HOA, you still need to look at the zoning and see what is actually allowed there. So just keep that in mind if you're looking for a property with non-HOA specifically, what rules you are kind of looking for to not have. And I hope you found this video helpful. Again, if you are looking for all things about Myrtle Beach area, please subscribe to my channel. And if you are thinking about making a move to the Myrtle Beach area, whether you're ready now, in 30 days, 300 days, I'd love to talk to you and get you where you want to go. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments below. Have a good one.